if you could, you guys take your first game and you're on the road in Middle Tennessee this coming Saturday. If you could talk about a little bit of fall camp and your opener.
Yeah, we had a really successful fall camp. It was a tough camp. We had a lot of heat. We tried, really hard to kind of get after those guys and, make sure we dotted all of our I's and crossed all our T's. I've deemed training camp 2016 a success. Feel really good about where this football team is. We just got to continue to improve from one day to the next and, try to be competitive as we go forward. But we got work cut out for us against Middle Tennessee State, an unbelievably talented FBS team. And, we're going to have a work cut out for us to try and get ready for them. We were able to kind of steal some time this week to kind of get a good look at them. And we've gone to work on the game plan. And so I feel really good, like I said, about where we are. We just got to keep putting the work in and, go down there and compete to win.
All right, the floor is now open for Alabama A&M head football coach James Spady.
Coach Spady, Luke Williams from the Black College Sports page. Good morning.
Good morning, Luke. How are you?
I'm doing just fine. Talk about some of the key guys on your team this year. Maybe some guys that came back from last year, as well as some of the new guys you're going to be counting on.
Well, we're going to always, probably count on our linebacker, Brian Brower. Now, he has a brother named Byron who plays running back for us. Please don't get him mixed up. Brian is the linebacker. He was just elected team captain again for the third year in a row. But we're going to start and end with him at the linebacker position. He's one of our major leaders, experienced players on defense. Had a great camp, and I'm excited about him. I'm excited about Avery Giles, defensive tackle. Had a really good camp. Also on defense, we got some experience with Dexter East and Devontae Simon, who is also one of our captains. Got a transfer student in Teray Callaway from the University of Nevada. He came in with us. In other words, we've got some guys that have been, kind of in the fray. They have been forced to be great players for us over the last couple of years, and I'm hoping that they turn the corner with that leadership that we expect and their execution and all that kind of stuff. And hopefully that'll lead to us being successful down the road. One of the exciting young freshmen that we had on defense, he's going to be an exciting player for us, is Quantravis Kelly. We were able to bring him in, and he really had a really good camp. He showed out. He was a really exceptional young player. He's going to figure into the depth, and I think he'll make some noise. On the offensive side of the ball, Tootie Ballard, kind of took over the leadership role. He's more of a coach on the field. His teammates elected him team captain again, and so we're thrilled to have Tootie back. We're thrilled to have his contribution to the football team. He had an outstanding training camp, and again, I hope that translates to us being more successful offensively. Kevin McKenzie, once again, just probably the hardest working man in college football, at least from my observation. He's going to be exciting to watch this year. A newcomer that has kind of taken us by storm is Jordan Bentley from right here in our backyard in Gunnersville, Gunnersville, Alabama. He has been exciting to watch this summer. One day after another, the guy puts together great practices. He's a competitor, and I'm glad people went to sleep on recruiting this young man because he's going to make us better. Jonathan Dorsey, our tight end, should be exciting to watch. He's an NFL prospect, and, I expect big things out of him. And our wide receiver core, I could probably list off all those guys. They've had a great camp, and we're excited to see them play.
Coach Spady, Donald Ware from the Press Box to Press Row. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you, Donald.
Yeah, so can you talk a little bit more about Bentley? Had a great prep career, and is he your starting running back?
Jordan Bentley is our starting running back. we'll pencil him in right now, and then he'll be etched in stone, if you will, when we tee it up on Saturday. But yes, he's had a great camp. He has been, the guy is a little bit ahead of himself in terms of his age. What I mean by that is, last year he was playing high school football. He came in and he really understands football. He understood the concepts. The speed of the game hasn't been overwhelming to him, and he's put together great practices, so we feel a tremendous amount of confidence and trust in him. I'm excited to see what he does against real live, college football competition. But boy, he's been exciting for the last, month or so, or however long we've been. It seems like we've been out here a month. But he's been exciting, and I can't wait to see him, compete.
Yeah, throughout your coaching career, have you seen a back? Because a lot of times, either freshmen come in, they don't get a lot of time, you redshirt them. Throughout your career, have you seen a back like him that has come in and had that sort of immediate impact?
I've been in it for 25 years, so yes, I've seen that before.
Okay, I guess more specifically, where would you place him in terms of a guy that, again, throughout your career that can come in and really, really have the impact on your team? I mean, is he one of the better guys you've seen in terms of the potential?
I haven't seen him play a game yet, so I'm gonna hold on that. I have great hope and trust in him.
All right, thanks.
Coach Spady, how you doing? This is Donald Hunt, Philadelphia Tribune. Can you talk a little bit more about Jonathan Dorsey, because he's played some really good football down there in Alabama A&M over the few years, and you had mentioned he's an NFL prospect. Can you talk about some of the things he does well?
Yeah, I really am shocked at the lack of attention he's gotten. Maybe it's his numbers, maybe it's I don't know what it is. But he's a 6'6", 240 pound target who can really run. And we're glad he's on our team. Let me just tell you that it's really hard to overthrow the guy. He just continues to make plays for us. We're going to find a way to put the ball in his hands, and I fully expect to see this guy play on Sundays.
Okay, great.
Still a couple of minutes left if we have questions for James Spady of Alabama A&M.
Coach Spady, this is Luke Williams again from the Black College Sports page. I know this is your third season, and it's probably a time for the guys that you recruit kind of to step up. And do you look at it as a season like that? This is the time or the season that you guys can make a move towards the top of the conference?
I look at it as anytime we step on the football field, it's time for my football team to take steps forward and be competitive.
But have you seen the maturity in terms of getting used to you as a coach, so to speak, your style of play and those kinds of things?
I sure have. Like I told you a minute ago, I love this football team. These guys come to work every day. They roll up their sleeves and they get after it. And you're right. I do see the maturity. I enjoy watching these guys compete. And right now, it's about time we play somebody else because I'm having to pull these guys off of each other. So, it's really good, though, because like I told you, these guys have bonded together, and we've been through some stuff together, and so I like where we're at.
Biggest difference
Conference recording stopped.
We're out of time, Coach. Thank you for joining us this morning. We look forward to talking with you next week.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot. That's James Spady, Alabama A&M head football coach, and his team opens the season Saturday, 6 p.m. at Middle Tennessee State. Next up on the call, it's Alabama State University, and he's in his second season at Alabama State.
Conference recording started.
The Hornets will open the season at the University of Texas, San Antonio, and we say good morning to Brian Jenkins. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. How you doing?
Just fine, Coach. Thanks for joining us. Let's recap your fall camp and talk a little bit about your opponent this Saturday in UTSA.
We had what I would consider a successful fall camp. Came out of it with no injuries and played a lot of football. And guys, came into camp in extremely good shape. And my hat goes off to my strength staff and our strength coach, Coach Megger Harrison, who's one of the best in the business. This team came in focused and ready to go. It was really good to get into camp. We got all the inherited sanctions and different things lifted, and so that was a refresher. And so, it was a really, really good camp, and I'm very proud of these guys, how focused they've been. They did a tremendous job in the classroom last year, and that carried over through the summer and right on into our camp. So, like I say, we had an exciting camp. It was really good, and it was a very hard, tough camp. Our guys responded in every way. So it was definitely one that I think has placed us in a position to be a very good football team. But we still got a lot of work to do. We're a work in progress. But nevertheless, being able to play that much football that we played in camp under the conditions that we practiced under and at the tempo that we practiced under and come out injury-free, I consider that to be a successful camp. First game against UTSA, they got a new coach in Frank Wilson, who's a first-class guy. I tell you what, UTSA hit a home run when they hired Frank. So it's going to be a tough football game. It's kind of unknown a little bit to us on what they're going to do and some of their schemes. We have some ideals, but nevertheless, we'll certainly find out on Saturday. But we're looking forward to the game. I think it's an important game for us. It's a big challenge for us right out the gate. And, we're prepared and we'll be ready for it.
Floor is now open for Brian Jenkins, head coach at Alabama State.
Coach Jenkins, how you doing? This is Donald Hunt, Philadelphia Tribune. And can you talk about Courtney Berry? 130 tackles and just his ability to get to the ball carrier, just to make so many plays on the ground in terms of his tackling. Can you talk about his ability to make all these plays for you?
Absolutely. Courtney is an exceptional young man. He's a young man that's already graduated and he's in grad school. And he's the keystone to our defense. There's no hiding that. I could try to downplay it as much as I can, but all the accolades that you just spoke about speak for themselves, and it speaks volumes about the type of young man he is. He's a great leader off the field, does an exceptional job, and understands the preparation process and what it takes to play at a high level. The thing I asked Courtney to do this summer and in camp is be able to transfer some of those things and those ability over to his teammates, and he's done an exceptional job at that. So Courtney is a first-class student athlete. He exemplifies everything you want in a student athlete, a guy that gets it done in the classroom, a guy that understands his role, a guy that's very active in the community and on campus, a guy that's a tremendous leader. So you can't say enough about him. He's the type of guy that you want your daughter to bring home to meet you. So he's a phenomenal young man and has done an exceptional job for our program thus far, and we're really looking forward to him closing out his career on a high note, and it's always a pleasure I must say it's a pleasure to be able to have an opportunity in my career to coach a young man that's so well-rounded as Courtney Berry.
Okay. Thanks.
Coach Luke Williams from the Black College. Luke Williams from the Black College Sports Page. How you doing, Coach Jenkins?
I'm doing all right. They still letting you write articles, Luke?
Yeah, they haven't shut me out yet. Thanks for letting me back in. I appreciate it.
Right.
How was what did you have to do as a program to overcome some of those sanctions that you were facing, and how were you able to accomplish it?
Well, the number one thing we had to do was get the young men to understand that, whatever occurred, and we had to do the right things in order to eliminate them. And that's what we did. We came in as a coaching staff and made sure we were out to change the mindset and the thought process of our of our football team, off the field as well as on the field. And we were hit with a lot of adversity, man. I mean, I was hit as a coach. I was attacked as a coach from nowhere with some crazy allegations, and then along with the sanctions that were already here, it just made everything topsy-turvy. But, what it did was it allowed us as a program to really step back and take a look at what we wanted to do and what we had to do to accomplish it. And I was just straightforward with the guys. I let them know what the problems were, why I felt the problems occurred, and faulting nobody, and where we needed to improve. So me and my coach staff put a plan together academic-wise, along with the academic advisors and our president, Dr. Boyd, who gave us tremendous support, and A.D. Hines as well. And we put a plan together academically to eliminate those sanctions. And then, when you combine that with the hammer and nail theory, and that theory for me is, hey, listen, either you're going to do it the one way that we do it, or you're not going to be here. And if you're going to do it, you're going to do it with meaning. And we just drove that home on our guys, and our guys started to understand what you put into it is what you will get out of it. And because of that, they were able to take on some of those philosophies and teachings, and as well as many other philosophies and teachings that we were able to present to them from successful people. We brought in a lot of speakers that have different backgrounds and had different situations of adversity, had different levels of success. We put those type of people in front of our student athletes and allowed them to understand that, if they take some of the same characteristics that those successful people did, that we can have they can turn things around. And I tell you, one of the key things that helped us is when Steve Harvey was here, and he spoke to our football team, and he kept it as real as you could keep it. And that really resonated with our guys and allowed us to get over some of those sanctions by doing the right things.
Hey, Coach, you had 4 losses in the SWAC last year, kind of a gap between you maybe and the top teams. How much do you think you've closed that gap between the Southerns, the Prairie Views, the Gramblings, the Alcorn State?
Well, that's yet to be seen, because we got to line up and play, and I think that'll show on the Saturdays that we line up and play football. But I can tell you this football team and this coaching staff has worked very hard to prepare themselves to be a top level and championship caliber football team. They showed up every day and just did all the necessaries and more in order to hopefully close that gap. So, we'll see when that ball is snapped on the Saturdays that we play those teams and other teams on if we've closed that gap. I would like to think so, but like I said, that's still yet to be seen. And, but I can tell you this team has worked extremely hard. I'm excited about this season and this football team. The coaching staff has done an exceptional job preparing this team for this upcoming season. So I can truly say we're ready and looking forward to every and each game that's in our future.
Good luck, Coach. Thanks.
All right, thank you.
Hey, Coach, good morning to you. Ty Miller from Sheridan Broadcasting.
Hey, Ty, my man. How you doing?
I'm good. Coach, you mentioned Frank Wilson, his first job at UTSA. And one of the things he did at LSU, he was a well-known running backs coach. He recruited people like Leonard Fournette. And he has a guy down there by the name of Tre'Davion Williams. Do you know about him, and how much do you know about him, if you do?
Yeah, definitely. We definitely know about him. He's a phenomenal player, and so we know that that's one of the guys we're going to hopefully have to try to find a way to slow down, and he has a tremendous coach in Frank Williams. And Frank Wilson. I've been knowing Frank a long time, all the way back to when he was at Old Perry Walker as a head coach, and I was an assistant at Louisiana Lafayette. We used to get together a lot and talk football, and I used to recruit some of his guys. And I knew then when I met him that this guy was on his way. He's a first-class guy, and he's very knowledgeable. So the success Frank has had does not surprise me. It does not surprise me at all. And like I said before, and I've been saying it all along, UTSA hit a home run when they hired Frank Wilson as their head football coach. He's going to definitely get in there and do a good job. I hope he does a bad job Saturday coming, and then he could do a good job after that. But definitely Frank is going to have that guy prepared and ready to run. And we're just going to have to do a good job of trying to contain him. I don't think you can ever stop or shut down a big back, but we're going to try to contain him and see if we can give ourselves a chance to win the ball game.
Conference recording stopped.
you very much for your time. We appreciate you joining us this morning, and good luck.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate you guys.
Conference recording started. Conference recording stopped.
SWAC Challenge, and it is in Daytona Beach this year. Good morning, Coach Fred McNair.
Conference recording started.
Good morning, sir.
Thanks for joining us, Coach. If you could talk a little bit about fall ball and preview your opener on Labor Day in the MEAC SWAC Challenge with Odums.
Okay, yes, I'm very excited about this season, man. I tell you what, just bringing the new coaching staff in and the guys we brought in, I think going to be a tremendous job. I'm kind of overwhelmed with those guys of how they've been teaching our kids and everything, the fundamental work of the football aspect and everything. So, and for the opening game, the SWAC Challenge, I'm very excited about it. It'll be the first ball game, but very excited about it, and just anxious to see how these kids gonna play against a different color jersey now. They've been banging on each other for a while now, and like I said, about tired of it. And
the host has joined the conference.
So, very excited about the MEAC SWAC Challenge and everything, to give the kids the opportunity to build something, to be a part of a good challenge.
All right, the floor is now open for Fred McNair, head coach at Alcorn State University.
Coach Luke Williams from the Black College Sports Page. How you doing?
I'm doing good, sir. How you doing?
Doing fine. Coach, what's been the biggest step up that you had to make becoming the head coach after Coach Hobson left? What's the biggest adjustment you've had to make becoming a head coach?
Well, you know, the biggest thing, I guess, was the biggest adjustment was trying to find some more coaches when he left. So that was a challenge there itself. So, but we was able to do that, and we got the guys in. I think that's going to be very good to this program as a coaching staff. I think that's been the biggest challenge as far as that bring to the table of the things that we've done as far as the coaching staff wise, and getting these kids ready for camp. Just getting in and make sure we got all the numbers in that we need for summer school, and make sure the kids getting what they need to get done for this camp. You know, now an upcoming game on September the 4th against Bethune. You know, but the transition is great.
When you talk about the success that Coach Hobson had, what did you learn from his time at Alcorn to put them in the position of being kind of the class of the SWAC for the last couple of years?
Well, you know, the bitter the sweet, you know. So you always kind of look at things and just from an assistant head coach's standpoint, the things you can learn and things not to do at the same time. So it's about a 50-50 thing there. So you know, I think I've learned a whole lot of things that more not to do than more to do, as well as being a head coach. For as how you do your players and all that kind of stuff. So it's been a very good challenge for me to step in and be a part of this, to be the head of this program. You know, I think that, you know, just by knowing the things that I know as a football coach has been very good. Just bringing that to the table. But other than that, I mean, the challenge has been great. I mean, the transition been good, and I think we got a good staff here, and we're going to lead this program the way we need to see fit.
Still got a few moments left in the segment with Fred McNair, head coach at Alcorn State.
Yeah. If nobody else has a question, Coach, I can ask you, what kind of changes have you implemented?
Well, I mean, the only change that we made as far as coaching-wise, I mean, Coach Thomas, he's the defensive coordinator now. He was a secondary coach last year. We brought in Cedric Thornton. He was at Alabama State, and he coached at Texas Southern. And he's going to be the linebacker coach. And And Cal Stewart is D-line coach, come from University of Memphis, and promoted the nickel coach, Coach Timmy Tolbert, at that position, and also brought in another quarterback coach in Brian Hayes, and also a fullback coach, Elliot Ratner from Indiana. So those guys have been good, and that's the biggest transition as far as the changes I made here. As far as everything else, I think we're just going to take what we got. Offensive coordinator still the same, Coach Keiss. But the biggest thing is, just moving the ball faster, just playing faster on both sides of the ball as well as special teams. I think that those changes will help us a whole lot as far as what we do with this football program.
How impressive has Footman been in fall camp?
I mean, he's been a diamond in the rough, man. I tell you, Footman he's done an outstanding job. The latter part of the season last year, and then coming in knowing he's the lead guy in his offense, he's been doing a tremendous job. He's been more consistent in his passing game. Of course, about his running skills and all that kind of stuff. But, those things that his leadership ability itself kind of goes a long way with his offense.
What about residue from the Celebration Bowl? The guys have a bitter taste in their mouth to end the season on a losing note?
Well, yeah, and that's always bitter when you lose a tough one like that. The way they fought back the second half and just didn't give up and just played hard throughout the whole second half. And now we get a chance to play MEAC school on the front end of things. They're kind of looking forward to playing Bethune this coming Sunday. So the guys are up for the challenge, and they know they left a lot on the table in the Celebration Bowl. So. The thing is about it, you're just going to have to play harder, and just continue to work.
And what do you see when you see this Bethune-Cookman team on tape? What do you think is going to be some of the most difficult things you're going to have to do to defend them and stop them, as well as to be able to move the ball and score?
Yeah, they're very aggressive on defense. They got a good defensive front. Secondary is fast, and got a good linebacker core. The whole team, I think the coaching staff down there at Bethune is doing a great job with those guys on both sides of the ball. They run the ball well. They got a good running back. They got a good quarterback, and they got two good receivers out there. So we just got to just do the right things and put our kids in a situation to be successful. Is the biggest thing for us. As a staff, you just have to make sure that these guys know that we're going to play fast on both sides of the ball and rely on our special teams to make plays for us as well, So those are our biggest challenges going into the game. And Bethune-Cookman, they well coached, and so our guys, they're up for the challenge and just make sure we have an A game when we come down to Bethune.
Any butterflies for you, Coach, in your first game?
No, I told the kid, I always crack joke with the kids sometimes, and I always tell them, I said, man, this is going to be like my first start as a quarterback here, so. Everything gonna be moving kind of fast into that first snap. So after that first snap is over, I should be done settled in by then.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck.
All right, thank you, man.
Coach, thank you very much for your time. We wish you well in the MEAC SWAC Challenge, and we will talk to you on next Monday.
Man, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Conference recording stopped.
That's Fred McNair, head coach at Alcorn State. Again, his team faces Bethune-Cookman in the annual MEAC SWAC Challenge. That's Sunday at 12 p.m., and the game is on ESPN. Next up, we go to Arkansas.
Conference recording started.
And the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff, head coach Monte Coleman. Last season opened the year in the MEAC SWAC Challenge. This year, he opens the season in the John Merritt Classic facing Tennessee State. Good morning, Coach Coleman.
Good morning.
Thanks for joining us, Coach. Let's talk a little bit about fall camp, and if you can, give us a preview of what to expect out of Tennessee State.
Well, fall camp was I thought was a very good camp. We did a lot of good things. We had new coaches come in during the spring. Got Ted White from Howard University. I got Mark Frederick from Lincoln, and Santo Carrillo from Murray State, and they came in and gave us a lot of energy. And the kids are bought into the new offensive style that we're running. We've changed up the defense just a little. But fall camp actually went fine. You know, the number one priority for me going into camp was trying to stay healthy, even though we do bang a lot during camp. But we wanted to come out healthy, and right now we are. We haven't lost any players to injuries, which is a good thing. So we are prepared to go to Tennessee State this weekend. A very good football team, not a very good record last season, but a very good football team. They have a very explosive quarterback in Carter. They rely on their tight ends. They're big at the tight end position at 6'3" and 6'4", all over 220 pounds plus. The other strength of their team is their defensive line, very strong defensive line, very active defensive line, and it's a very good football team. So we're excited about playing this non-conference game. It should get us on track, and I'm excited about where we are as a football team right now.
All right, the floor is now open for Monte Coleman, head coach at Arkansas Pine Bluff.
Coach Coleman, Luke Williams from the Black College Sports Page. How are you today?
Hey, Luke.
Listen, you brought in Ted, and the rumor is that you're going to kind of do more of a spread attack under him using quarterback Brandon Duncan. Has it played out that way in terms of using Brandon and the offense that Ted has installed?
Well, the offense that Ted has, it has both the pro style and the spread. He'll mix it up some. We will run some tight end in there without, showing my hand. We will have some tight end. We've got tight ends on roster. We got fullbacks on roster. So, he's going to mix it up some. But, Ted White is known for his development of young quarterbacks, and that was kind of one of the things that I looked at, him being an ex-quarterback coming in helping these young guys. Brandon Duncan is definitely a part of our package right now. We have not announced who's going to be our starting quarterback this week. Right now, we've got a three-man race between Brandon Duncan, Nolan Sorensen, and Lee Earl Patterson. So we'll see how this week pans out before we really announce which one of these guys is going to take the nod against Tennessee State.
Well, I know you bring back Duncan, Willie Young, as well as Handley on offense. Would you say at this point your offense is a little ahead of your defense in terms of experience, and how comfortable you feel with them right now?
Well, Handley's gone. He did exhaust his eligibility, so he's not the running back. We did bring back Keyshawn Williams, who was a freshman last year, that showed lots of promise. And that's the thing, Luke, with our team. We're a very young football team. We still are this year. As far as which one is leading, we do have a lot of veterans, but we didn't lose but two people off of that played last year off of the defense. Even though it's a young defense, a lot of those guys got so much valuable playing time last year, and I'm hoping that the defense can do what we need them to do. As far as the offense, with Keyshawn Williams, with Nolan Sorensen and Brandon Duncan, McDonald. I lost the kid's first name. But as a big running back, and then, the offensive line. So, yeah, I think the offense may be a 51, the defense 49 because of youth. We got more experience on the offensive side of the ball at this time.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck.
Dante McDonald, that's the kid's name.
Coach Trevor A. Jones, SBN Sports. How you doing this morning, Coach?
I am doing good.
Just one simple question, Coach. Anything that stands out in your mind about your troops coming into this season that really excites you about the upcoming season?
Their ability to fight through adversity. That excites me. We had some hot training camp days, some very hot training camp days, where the heat index was over 110. We had some rainy days where we had to go out in the rain and we had to practice because we knew we had to get it in. There were some days that we had to go indoors. Their ability to just stay focused this year was a little bit different than it was last year. I think I've got a good group of guys that's working extremely hard, and that excites me. My philosophy is basically, if you don't put anything in it, you won't get anything out of it. And this year, the guys have really put a lot of hard work into it and did what the coaches asked them to do. So that excites me.
Thanks for your time, Coach. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
Hey, Coach, this is Nick Walker with the Democrat Gazette. In reading, obviously, your conversation with Troy, it sounds like, a lot of the changes you were hoping to see things, not just different for different sake, but to see improvement in your football team. Now that you're wrapping up camp and getting into that first game, do you feel that change in your football team, both in their attitude and their performance?
Yes. Guys are working hard. I know I'm being repetitive by saying that, but they're working hard. Last year was kind of a strange year for us. This year, guys got a whole different attitude, and I have seen a difference in this team compared to last year. So with the difference in their attitudes and their work ethic, it leaves me very optimistic that, we've got the right guys on the team this year. We had to get rid of some guys, or I had to get rid of some guys, and to make this thing happen. And guys right now have bought into the system. And it's a no-nonsense system. If you can't walk a straight line, then you won't be a part of this team. And we have had to get rid of a couple of guys during training camp. And I think the other guys have kind of caught suit to what the coaches want to do. So to answer your question, yes, sir, I have seen a major difference.
So you have time for questions for Monte Coleman with University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff. Coach, talk about the difference from this season opening last year with the SWAC Challenge and another classic with John Merritt this year. Is there any difference in that, or talk about your approach overall?
Well, the only difference, the approach is going to be the same. I mean, it's a football game, being a classic there in Nashville or in Orlando. It's all the same. Two very good football teams. This one with Tennessee State, we've played them before. We played them in 12. We know how explosive they can be. Very well coached team. And but as far as comparison to two, both of them are non-conference games and games that we definitely want to try to win. And but the only difference as far as comparison, one was in Orlando, the other was going to be in Nashville. But other than that, it's two very good football teams that I think we match up with, and we just need to go out and win this football game.
Any more questions for Monte Coleman with Arkansas Pine Bluff?
Hello?
Yes.
Hello?
Hello?
Sorry.
Coach, we're out of time. Thank you very much for joining us this morning. We look forward to talking with you next week.
Yes, sir. I look forward to it.
Thank you.
Conference recording stopped.
That's Monte Coleman, head coach at University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff. Again, his team faces Tennessee State in the annual John Merritt Classic, 6 p.m. kickoff this coming Saturday.
Conference recording started.
Next up on the call, Grambling State University. This opens year 3 for Broderick Fobbs, and they will play host to Virginia Lynchburg for a kickoff that is set this Saturday at 6 p.m. Good morning, Coach Fobbs. How are you?
Good morning. How are you doing?
Just fine, Coach. Thanks for joining us. If you could recap your summer practices and give us a preview of your opening weekend battle with Virginia Lynchburg.
I'll tell you, training camp went to be expected the right way. We were very, very pleased with our kids and the focus and the level of which we worked this past training camp. The thing that's been our focus this season is how we go about doing things. We were sort of successful last year, but we were up and down. When we looked at it, we evaluated the quarters, and we were up and down in certain quarters. So we wanted to be more consistent across the board in the manner in which we played the game. So that started in practice, and we wanted to make sure that we practice the same way consistently throughout. So our guys are very, very focused. We understand that this is a tough league in which we play in, and we're looking forward to this particular season.
All right, the floor is now open for Broderick Fobbs, head coach at Grambling State.
Coach Fobbs, Luke Williams from the Black College Sports Page. Coach Fobbs, a lot of your postseason, off-season focus has been talking about replacing Jonathan Williams at quarterback, and most of the I guess press, you could say, has been focused on Deontay Kincaid. Can you talk about him and talk about how you're looking at the quarterback position? If I know you, like most coaches, even though the focus has been on him, he might not be the only guy competing. So can you talk a little about him and his skill set?
Well, Devontae is an extremely talented young man. We're very, very pleased to have him, as also to have the other three guys as well. He's a very, very driven young man, works extremely hard on the practice field, throws the ball extremely well, and also has the ability to use his legs a little bit. So he's had a really good camp and had a really good spring and really grasped the system and understand the ins and outs of what we want to do offensively. But we also have a couple other guys. We have a sophomore, Trevon Cherry, that's played exceptionally well for us in training camp, and then also Charles Wright. So Devontae is getting the nod, but we do plan to play two quarterbacks, especially early on, just to make sure that we have other guys ready as well.
Coach Fobbs, Charles Bishop, Dr. Gaville's inside the HBCU Sports Lab. I wanted to ask, much has been made of the transfers, the FBS transfers coming into Grambling this past summer, but addressing the defensive side of the ball, do you feel like you've been able to plug some holes on the defensive side of the ball?
Well, our job is to, recruit players and try to get the best players for our program. And, hopefully we've done that. Everyone is basically doing the same thing. But I think a lot of it has to do, a lot of the guys that have decided to come here has to do with our coaching staff and our assistants who have worked extremely hard in the recruiting process to try to make our team a much better football team. We won't know that until we compete, but we are pleased with our football team, and we're pleased with the work ethic, and we're pleased with the togetherness and the way in which they're going about doing their business, as well as what they're doing off the field academically. So it takes a lot of work, but for us, it's about just doing things the right way. I think the thing that's amazing about a couple of the guys is, maybe three of them have foregone scholarships just to come here and walk on. So, anytime you get kids to come into your program that are paying their way, that says a lot. So we're pleased with what we've been able to accomplish.
Floor is still open for Grambling State head coach Broderick Fobbs.
Coach, this is Luke Williams again. What kind of offensive changes can you anticipate with the quarterbacks you have over the kind of offense you ran with Jonathan last year?
Well, I don't know about if there would be any changes. I think it's more in depth. The first year, there was only so many things that we could actually do, to make sure that we didn't have very many mental errors. But then I think in year two, we got a little bit further into the playbook, which allowed us, to add some things because we had some guys that were returning. So I think in year three, we've kind of gone a little bit deeper into our playbook and continue to add some things that we wanted to add initially. So, of course, we want to be 60-40 team and make sure we're able to throw the football effectively, but run the football effectively as well. Because when you're able to run the football effectively, then you help your defense. So we just want to be a great team, just like everyone else in our conference. There's a lot of quality coaches, a lot of quality players in this league, and I've always felt that even in my years of playing in this particular league, and this year is no different.
Coach Charles, back again. Wanted to ask Although you were the representative in the SWAC championship game last year, Prairie View was the preseason favorite to come out of the West. Has that been an extra motivator in camp this fall?
Well, I mean, I don't think we need any extra motivation. I think we're a self-motivated team, and that's just the way it goes. I mean, they deserve what they've received. Coach Willie, very, very talented football team. They have a successful athletic administration, which matches their football staff and their players. So they deserve, where they are seated at this particular time. And it's going to be a dogfight anytime you play not only Prairie View but anybody that we face in this particular league. But just like anybody else, it doesn't matter if you pick first or pick last. Those are preseason rankings, and that's picked by you guys. What happens in the end is picked by the teams. So for us, our focus is just doing what we can do this weekend to make our team better, so that we'll be prepared when that opportunity comes.
Talk about some of the playmakers that you have on offense, Kelly and Carter, as well as Willie.
Excuse me?
He was asking about playmakers, Coach, Kelly, Carter, among others.
Okay, well, of course we have Martez Carter and Justin Kelly coming back, two of our team leaders in rushing of football, which is that have a lot of experience. For the last two seasons that have some experience as well. Then, Chad Williams and Berlin Hunter, those guys at the receiver position, give us a lot of experience also. So we're pleased with those guys, as is, some of the additions. But you still have to play together as a unit. And it doesn't matter who you have on your football team if you don't play together. So for us, it's just a matter of us playing together and doing all the little minor details which can make big situations better.
Any more questions for Broderick Fobbs?
Sure,
Right.
Coach. Can you talk about some of your defensive standouts and some of these new guys from FBS that you brought in?
I don't really care to talk about those guys right now. I mean, our focus right now is just on the team. Of course, we have Guy Stallworth returning, who's an exceptional football player for us, and he's been doing an exceptional job in training camp as well. And then, of course, we have Arquez Cooper, a linebacker. They're also guys that are seniors, and they've pretty much led the troops this off season and also in the training camp, and I think they're poised to play their best football. So we're just focused on being a unit and doing things the right way.
Coach, thank you very much for your time. We appreciate you joining us this morning, and good luck at home with Virginia Lynchburg this coming weekend.
Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Conference recording stopped. Conference recording started.
Jackson State University is next on the call. He is in his first year at JSU, and he's also the first SWAC team that will make their debut this season, and it'll be against UNLV on the road. And we say good morning to Jackson State head coach Tony Hughes. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Thanks for joining us, Coach. If you could talk a little bit about fall practice and give us a heads up and a preview for your September 1 Thursday night match with UNLV out west.
Well, we're excited about being the flagship for the SWAC, starting off out at UNLV this week. Our team is excited. We've worked extremely hard this summer and through the off season, and we're going to put the product on the field, and let's see what we can do. We have some veteran players returning, and some all-conference players on either side of the ball, and with a new coaching staff, a new philosophy, and a new outlook, and so we're just looking forward to the opportunity to play in somebody else beside ourselves, which we've been going up against the last 8 months.
All right, the floor is now open for Tony Hughes, head coach at Jackson State.
Coach Hughes, Luke Williams from Black College Sports Page. How are you?
I'm doing great. Still undefeated, so I'm doing good.
Congratulations on that and for the new job. But you said new philosophy. Can you talk about how your philosophy differs from perhaps where the team was and to what degree you've been able to implement that?
Well, we come in with a team philosophy, team first. No matter if you're the superstar, two-time All-American, or you're the fourth-string snapper that'll never get in the game, the team concept of building a team that everybody on the team is important, from the administration all the way down to the trainers and managers, that everybody has a part in winning and everybody has a part in losing, from our secretary, receptionist, to our DFO, to myself, who will ultimately be blamed if we're not successful, or crowned if we are successful. Then it's not just the players on the field, but everybody that's involved that has an important part in this football program, to be inclusive with that, but also to work hard and get everybody to know that they have as important a role in winning a game and losing a game as everybody else. And that's what I mean when I say philosophy, that we're all in this together, and if it's any finger's going to be pointed, I can take the finger pointing, I can take the shots, but at the same time, we're going to work exclusively as a team to play as hard as we can every single week to represent this university the best we can.
There's a lot about Coach written about you wanting really wanting to be a head coach, and you wanted to be in those shoes. How does it feel now that you've occupied them for a few months?
Well, I talked to Coach Dan Mullen, who I was under for 7 years, and I called him last week, and I was dealing with a situation, so I do still lean on him because we're very close. I was assistant head coach, and I said, Coach Mullen, I changed my mind, man. I want to come back. You told me that this head coaching stuff is overrated. And he laughed just like you did, and so he helped me navigate through that issue, but I tell you what, it's great to have somebody to lean on as different things pop up. I told somebody this morning, I said, it's like on the General Patton movie when he was driving through the minefield and some of them were blowing up beside the Jeep, and then every once in a while one's going to hit the Jeep. You just don't know which one's going to hit you. But we'll keep our foot on the gas and we'll keep driving through the minefield best we can.
Coach Hughes, Charles Bishop, Dr. Reveals inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Wanted to ask, I know Javancy Jones had missed some time in camp for personal reasons, and wanted to ask, will he, in fact, be available this upcoming week?
Yes, he is. He was back at practice yesterday, and just a unique situation. His mother is critically ill and has been off and on for several years, and and he had some personal issues dealing with that, and some family trying to navigate through a lot of different things and play football. And I know he loves football. He has great passion for it. But I made a statement earlier that we've got 11 regular season games this year, and we got 12 if we make it to the SWAC championship, and 13 if we make it to the bowl game. But if all of that goes awry, you only have one mother, and make sure that your mother is taken care of, and football will still be here when you get back. And he's a tremendous young man, very intelligent, academic All-American as well as an athletic All-American. So I'm not worried about him playing football, but I want him to make sure that he can do everything that he can to take care of his mother and family.
Coach, I wanted to follow up and ask, have there been any camp standouts that you've seen that you're really looking forward to watching this upcoming week?
Well, we have Daniel Williams coming back. He's an all-conference player, a wide receiver, great work ethic, great size, great speed. I mean, he's been tremendous. We can't cover him in practice, so I hope that that'll trickle down. I hope nobody else can cover him either, but tremendous player, great kid, great work ethic, loves football, has great passion for the game of football. I'm excited to watch him play. Our running back, Robert Johnson, who was injured last year, is back healthy. He was the leading rusher last year, over 400 yards. He's had a great camp. He's changed his body. He's changed his look. He's a big back that I have high hopes for. I mean, he had a great day of practice yesterday. We're excited about him. Our receiving core, I don't know how it will shape up, once we start playing games, but on the surface, we've got some kids that have played. Jarius Moe, who was our returner, kickoff returner. Deshaun McKenzie, who has made some big plays in some big games. Jevin Floyd, junior college transfer out of Mississippi. Gulf Coast Community College, may be our fastest receiver. And Lamontez Ivy, with Coach Germany's offense and offensive philosophy, has been steady and dependent. And so I would say, those guys have really stood out, those skill players. And, I'm excited to watch them play and match up against other teams and other opponents to see how good that we really are.
Thank you, Coach.
You're welcome.
And do we have any more questions for Tony Hughes at Jackson State? Coach, thank you very much for joining us this morning, and we'll talk with you on next Monday.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. All right.
Conference recording stopped.
They didn't want to talk to me, did they?
We'll hang around in Mississippi now.
Conference
and we will
recording started.
Take things to Jackson, Mississippi, and Mississippi Valley State now, next up on the call. The lone team playing under the lights Friday night, and they're on the road at Eastern Michigan. And we will say good morning to Rick Comegy. Good morning, Coach.
Yes, good morning. How are you?
Just fine, Coach. Thank you very much for asking. If you could talk a little bit about fall camp and the Friday night game under the lights at Eastern Michigan, 5 p.m.
Well, I thought fall camp went well. The kids, really gave everything they had this preseason, and a coach couldn't ask for more. I mean, they came in prepared, they were ready. We had some guys that needed to get in shape, but it wasn't a whole house full of guys who we had to try to, bend their ear to get them in shape. But right now, I think we've arrived to where we want to be as far as being in condition is concerned, and I think what we're planning on doing this year is melted down so that everybody can understand and get onto the field. We don't want a good freshman having to sit the bench because he doesn't have the understanding, or somebody new that transferred in lose out on the spot because of understanding. So we melted down to make sure that this team had a clear understanding of what we wanted to do and how we want to go about doing it. And I'm very pleased with that process. I'm happy with our coaching staff. I think they did a fantastic job of teaching. And I think that's where it all came from, where the guys are comfortable in their place so we can play fast.
All right, the floor is now open for Rick Comegy, head football coach at Mississippi Valley State.
Coach Comegy, Charles Bishop here with Dr. Cavilles inside the HBCU Sports Lab. I wanted to ask, you're going into year 3 now, being up at Mississippi Valley State. You played a lot of younger guys the prior 2 years. how excited are you going into this third year with your football team?
Well, I'm excited, very much excited. I think even though we're still young, we only have about 3 seniors on the team and maybe a half a dozen juniors. And all the new guys now that we have in are guys that have no clue or no idea in their thoughts about anything in the past. They're all looking forward, which is something that I want them to do. I want them to look forward. We can't look back. And I feel good about it. I feel good that a lot of guys played last year as freshmen, and that's going to even get us even better, and some of the things that we're trying to do. So, I didn't really want to play those guys as young guys last year, but I think it's going to pay off for me in the long run here that a lot of those freshmen played, and now they're going into their sophomore year, and it's going to enhance our football team, and it's going to enhance our play.
Coach, wanted to follow up and ask, who primarily will we see under center this year for the Delta Devils?
Well, we got 3 guys, but right now we're going to go with a junior college transfer, a young man by the name of Austin Bray. We're going to start out with him, at the quarterback, and then we're going to come in with Slade, the young man that we did a great job for us last year as he came in, a big, tall lefty from Pensacola, and Ruben Thurston, the next guy we got in line at the quarterback spot, is had a great preseason. It was hard to keep him back, but Bray kind of edged them all out. So they're all 3 got different packages that they run, even though Bray can run them all, but they all have the strengths that we got to reach and get to. I think if we can tap on each other's strengths, we're going to be a pretty good team offensively if we can tap into their strengths and play them at the right times. But right now we're going to go with Bray.
Still talking things over with Rick Comegy at Mississippi Valley State. A few moments left in his segment.
Coach, Charles Bishop again, wanted to ask you a little bit about Booker Chambers, who's SWAC Freshman Player of the Year last year, in terms of utilizing him more so this year. How will you look to getting a ball in his hand?
Everywhere we can. We're going to, he'll be behind center. He'll be behind out at wide receiver. We're going to move him around. We're going to even, we're going to do a lot with him because, he's a special athlete, and we got to put the ball in his hands to do some special things. He's going to be on special teams for us, returning balls and things of that nature. So, we're going to do a lot with him, and, he's just a special athlete that you just got to put the ball in his hands, and he can make things happen. We got another array of guys that can do a lot of good things, but Booker T is a kind of a special guy that can make special things happen.
Sure thing. Thanks, Coach.
Coach, tell us a little bit about Thomas Stokes Jr. and what he brings to the table as running back for you guys.
Well, Thomas Stokes is a horse. He's a tough kid. I'm glad he's in our backfield. He runs hard. He blocks. He's smart. If he sees something going wrong with the line play, let's say the line slid the wrong way, he knows who to pick up. He understands the offense to a T. And he's only a sophomore. I mean, his career is way ahead of him, but he's on time with it. He's strong as an ox. He can run. He can do a lot of good things. Come out of that backfield, catch the football for us, and you're going to see a lot of Thomas Stokes in that backfield for us doing some great things along with Charlie Crenshaw, who's back from injury from last year. So I feel good about that, about the stable we have that back at running back and a wide receiver. I feel good about that.
Coach, with you guys playing on a Friday night as opposed to a Saturday, what does the agenda look like this week, and how different is it from what you normally would see on a Saturday?
Yeah, it's a little different, but we've been planning for it, and throughout the whole summer, and what to do and how to get things set and ready to go. We're going to go ahead out there and practice in full today, and probably go 2 half pads the next couple of days, and fly out on Thursday. Get up in there early. Thursday morning, get a light workout in, and then go out and play these guys on Friday. And I believe that We may be staying overnight, then coming back on Sunday, if I'm correct, or vice versa. But we have our schedule already made. It's already well planned, the manifest for the flight and everything to get us up there and back. And so we know kids are excited. The coaches are ready. We're just putting together those little small items that you don't want to forget or leave out, because those small items become big. And so we've been meeting and trying to get those things out of the way. And offense and defense is set because we want to keep it simple, but yet and still, I think staying with our packages, it's going to be enough to do some good things up there, and we're hoping to represent the SWAC very well. That's what it's all about, the SWAC, and being representative of everybody in the conference, and try to get up there and see if we can represent well.
Do we have any more questions for Rick Comegy? Coach, the last one before you go, you talked a little bit about Booker Chambers. Anybody else on the defensive side of the ball that could have a season similar to his that may sneak up on us? Is there anybody out there that you're expecting defensively that could potentially have a breakout year?
Well, we already had the one kid preseason All-American in Green. I think he's going to have a great year. He understands what's going on. He's at our free safety spot. He's guiding things around just really great, and I'm very, very pleased with him. I think we're going to be stronger in our kicking game this year because we brought in a couple guys that I think can really boot the ball and also hit those field goals for us that we missed last year. But basically, I think it's going to be Marquez Green will be the guy that will stand out for us, along with Cheatham at inside linebacker, who's having a special preseason camp. The guy is just phenomenal type guy, and we got some guys that really picked up the game that I'm really pleased with. That I can't wait to see him play.
Conference recording stopped.
Coach, thank you very much for your time this morning. We look forward to talking with you next Monday.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach. That's Rick Comegy of Mississippi Valley State. Again, his team plays Friday at Eastern Michigan. That game is live, by the way, on ESPN3, and the kickoff is set for 5 p.m.
Conference recording started.
Next up on the call, we head to Texas and Prairie View A&M. It starts year 2 for Willie Simmons, and they will be off in a brand-new stadium, Panther Stadium, hosting rival Texas Southern in the annual Labor Day Classic. Good morning, Coach Simmons.
Hey, good morning. How you guys doing?
Just fine, Coach. Thanks for joining us. Let's talk a little bit about your camp that you just wrapped up and opening the season with arch rival Texas Southern.
Oh, no question. Camp was very exciting for us to open up the new stadium. We got to practice in the new stadium a bunch of times, and the guys were really excited to come out on the new turf and fly around. It was a little hot early in the camp. We had a few shoes get burned up with rubber, but once things settled down a little bit, we were able to get some good work in. But overall, I thought camp was productive. I thought we got better in all 3 phases of the game. I thought we got some young guys, some quality reps, so hopefully they'll be game ready starting this Sunday. So we're excited. We're excited to open up the brand new stadium on national television against our in-state rival, Texas Southern, and we know it's going to be a pressure-packed game, and I think we'll be up for the challenge.
All right, the floor is open for Willie Simmons, head coach at Prairie View A&M.
Coach Simmons, Charles Bishop, Dr. Cavill's inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Of course, last year, Jonte Hebert was a huge part of your offense. Wanted to ask, who are some of the running backs who will try to fill the shoes, so to speak, of Mr. Hebert?
Hey, Charles, good to hear from you, brother. Jonte, like I said earlier, can't be replaced with one guy. He was so special to this program, and by the time it's all said and done, he'll go down as one of the best all-around backs, I think, in all of FCS football history. So we're going to try to do our best to replicate his production with a number of guys. Javonte Ham is the only returning running back from last year's team. So, of course, he has the nod because of his experience and understanding the offense. Stephon McCray is a junior college running back we signed from Arizona Western, who started his college career at the University of South Florida. He's a big back, a 230-pound guy, so he'll be probably more similar to Courtney Brown with his running style as a bruiser than a Jonte Hebert as a slasher. But he had a really good camp. And then we signed 2 really good freshmen, Caleb Roach, a kid from out of East Texas, out of Rockwall. is more of a bruiser as well. He's a 210-pound back that's real shifty, very strong, runs with great balance. And then Dwanye Tucker is probably the closest to a Jonte Hebert. He's another kid out of Dallas. He's a smaller guy, about 165 pounds, but has that same type of game-breaking speed and shiftiness that Jonte brought to the table, as well as being a great pass catcher. So between those four guys, hopefully we can replicate the type of production that Jonte gave us. And, of course, Trey understands that he'll probably have to carry the ball a little bit more also to make up some of those lost yardage.
Coach, of course, you were picked to win the SWAC West this upcoming season. Has camp been any different in terms of knowing that you'll have the target more on your back this year?
Well, we knew that coming out of last season. We knew after the season last year that we wouldn't sneak up on anyone, and that's the way you want it. We talk about building a championship caliber program here, and that's what championship caliber programs experience every year. They're the hunted, not the hunter. So we understand that everybody's going to look at us and expect us to be really good this year. And but for us, we're about getting better every day because that's what we have a charge to do. It's not about where we start. It's about where we finish. So having the preseason ranking of being number one really doesn't matter to us. We know when the dust settles in December, it's going to be determined then. So we know we have to work hard every day, and it starts this coming Sunday with Game 1 versus Texas Southern.
Coach, how you doing? Ty Miller from Sheridan Broadcasting. Let's look back to last season, 38-11 over Texas Southern. Of course, the players have changed, but what can you take from that game, looking back at any tape from last season, and apply toward this game?
Well, really the only thing that I take from last year's game is the tables have turned. They're the team with the new head coach this time. So for us, it's about the unknown. Last year, they really didn't know what we were going to do going into the game, and maybe that had a little bit to do with the outcome of the game. This year, it's flipped. We don't know exactly what Texas Southern is going to do. Coach Haywood has been out of coaching for a few years, and so with him being back, there's no film to watch of what he's been doing over the last few years. A lot of his coordinators and assistant coaches were at smaller programs or guys that he worked with in the past. So it's a little bit challenging to know exactly what you're going to see on game day. So other than that, I don't take anything else from the game. The score, the atmosphere, the way the guys played, you can throw all that out the window. It's a rivalry game, and anyone who's ever been involved in a rivalry knows that you can throw everything out the window when you have two teams who have the type of passion against one another that Texas Southern and Prairie have.
Coach, being that this is your third year, how much confidence have you gained in your ability, and can you speak about how the players are bought into your philosophy and how they're doing things now?
Well, I commend the guys. They've done a great job of buying in. I think it started last year, started in day one after that first team meeting with the seniors, and then it carried over to the rest of the team. And that's something that we preach daily. Our 7 F's, our 7 things that we talk about day to day is what we build our program on. And as long as they buy into that, as long as they believe in those 7 things, we'll have a chance to be successful. And then luckily for us, they did it last year, and I'm excited to see how this team comes together this year and believes in those 7 core values that we preach.
Coach Charles Bishop again. You mentioned the atmosphere for this Labor Day Classic. How exciting will it be for the team to open up the season in this brand new stadium? Of course, there's been all the talk this past offseason, but do you think there'll be butterflies going into this game?
Well, I'm sure there'll be butterflies, but it would be butterflies if we were opening up at Texas Southern Stadium, or we were opening up in NRG Stadium, or down the road at Waller High School. This is Texas Southern that we're going against. So it's not going to take a lot to get the guys excited. The atmosphere is going to be electric. ESPN will be here, national television. We're playing on Sunday, so we're one of only 3 games being played that day. So it's going to be a very, very energetic crowd on both sides. It's going to be a huge, great atmosphere for college football. And so I'm sure there will be butterflies there, but hopefully we can turn that anxiety into production. And if you train the right way, you should see results. And that's what we talk to our guys about. We can't let the outside or external factors influence how we play internally. We have to keep our poise. The emotions will be high, so we have to make sure we do a good job of keeping our composure and not getting out of our zone with personal fouls and doing uncharacteristic things. But, that's the nature of any pressure-packed game, and this won't be the only one. It just happens to be the first one. So I think the team that can control themselves the best will be the team that has the best chance to be successful.
Coach, Mark Gray from HSRN, how are you?
I'm doing great, Mark. How are you?
All right. The leadership skills that Trey has evolved in at the quarterback position, can you talk about how he's matured, not with this tangible stuff that you need in terms of play calling, making reads, executing the game calls, but the leadership stuff? Can you talk about him as a leader?
It's something that we've challenged him on from the time he took over the starting quarterback. He's coached by his head coach was a college quarterback. His position coach was a college quarterback here at Prairie A&M. So he has two guys who played the position who understands what it takes to be a leader of your football team. And so he gets that every day. He's done a great job of buying into that. He's trying to study film more. He's trying to be more vocal with the guys. He's trying to be more encouraging with the guys. And a lot of that didn't come natural for him at first. And so he's slowly learning how to be positive with this reinforcement as opposed to negative. And I think that's the area that he's grown in the most. But I'm excited about how far he's come, and I'm excited to see how much further he can develop. And I think he really has a chance to be the best quarterback in FCS football.
It's interesting because I remember talking prior to last year's game with KJ, and he talked about the depth that you had, KJ Black that is, at the quarterback spot, not only for now, but for years to come. How has Trey ascended beyond the other very talented quarterbacks that you have to assume the reins, not only as your signal caller, but as the leader, certainly at the offensive side of the ball?
Well, he's definitely ascended from a physical standpoint. Trey does some things that I hadn't seen as a player or as a coach. He makes some throws that are jaw-dropping. He ran right last week and side on the ball across his body, across the field, everything you teach against, and it hit the receiver in stride. So he just does certain things that other guys just physically can't do. But the thing that sets Trey apart from Jalen Morton and Nico Hollins and Josh Johnson is that he's a real student of the game. He embraces watching film. He wants to sit in with the coaching staff while we discuss plays and schematics. He wants to learn about defenses and how they're trying to attack us. And so he's really taken on that mantle of being what we call a Peyton Manning-type quarterback, to where the cerebral part of the game is what leads you, not the physical part. So physically, he's got all the tools, but it's the mental part of his game that's developed the most, and I think that's what set him apart from the other guys.
And, everybody talks about offense, but it is going to take defense to win the championship in the conference. How good do you feel like this defense can be, and what kind of challenges will they present to our opposition, or are there some places you're looking to get better at?
I've been saying it since this spring. I think we have a chance to have the best defense in the conference and one of the best in FCS football. We have 9 starters returning. We've added a few pieces to that as well with transfers, and I feel really, really good about where our defense is headed. The thing that I think that's the most important is that for the first time in 5 years, the defense will have the same voice. Those guys before had a new coordinator every year. Well, Coach Ralph Street is here for his second season as well. And so we're not changing our scheme. Of course, we're adding a few wrinkles to try to complement some of the things that we did well last year. But for the most part, they know our base defense. Everyone here knows the defense. Again, we have 9 starters returning, so experience is there. And so I'm excited. They're fast, they're long, they're rangy. We can get after the quarterback. We can run in the back end. We're physical at linebacker. So I really don't see any deficiencies in the defense, and we have a lot of quality depth as well at every position. So on paper, I feel really good about the defense. Of course, it'll have to be seen on game day how well we produce. But if practice in spring has been any indication, we're going to have a very, very good defense this year.
Conference recording stopped.
Coach, thank you very much for your time. We appreciate you joining us this morning, and we look forward to talking with you next week.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. That's Willie Simmons, head coach at Prairie A&M. Again, his team faces Texas Southern in the annual Labor Day Classic, and that's a 5 p.m. kickoff, and that game can be seen on the ESPN family networks.
Conference recording started.
Next caller up is Dawson Odums from Southern University. Out of 3 SWAC championships held in Houston, his team has played in 2 of them, and this year they'll open up the season at Louisiana Monroe. And we say good morning to Coach Odums. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining us, Coach. If you could, let's recap fall camp and talk a little bit about your in-state opponent with Louisiana Monroe.
I thought fall camp we accomplished the goal that we had set was just improving on our discipline, just focusing in on detail. I thought we had spirited practices. I thought we had a good understanding of what we were trying to get done. We got a lot of veteran players coming back, implementing a new scheme on defense. I think the guys are gradually picking it up and continue to get better throughout fall camp. So we're into our first week, really trying to solidify kicking. That's really what we're focusing on this week, is figuring out who's going to be that place kicker. We got a good battle going, and we'll name that guy when we go out there on the field on Saturday. But ULM got a new coaching staff. Coaches coming over from McNair. If you know anything about McNair's program, a good program. Usually have a disciplined program and really concentrate on the fundamentals. So it'll be a tall order for us. We're going into a position where we really don't know the opponent. We don't really know what kind of scheme they're going to run. You can only look at some of the things that they may have done at other places, but it's really the unknown. So we got a challenge in front of us. We got an opportunity in front of us, and that's what we talked to about our players.
All right, the floor is now open for Southern University head coach Dawson Odums.
Coach Odums, Charles Bishop, Dr. Cavilles inside the HBCU Sports Lab. You mentioned having a veteran ball club, but there is an unknown factor with ULM. But how do you feel like you match up going against this FBS opponent?
Well, you really don't know. I don't have a crystal ball to determine what they're going to do or what kind of players they have. I think you'll find a lot out in that first series. I think we got some good players on our football team, but yet they haven't played or haven't been in pads since November. So it's always an unknown factor for us going into that first game. But I think if you block well, tackle well, and catch well, you got a chance to be successful.
Coach, I wanted to follow up and ask, how have the flooding in the Baton Rouge area, how has it affected your fall camp in as far as missed time and things of that nature, as well as players probably going through their own personal issues with it?
Well, we had a couple of days, especially right after the flooding, where we had some guys that had to address it with their families. We missed a couple of practices, but we got right back on course, and, it's devastating. And, these guys got a lot on their minds and had to deal with a lot of things outside of football. And we kept that in perspective as coaches. But for the most part, they've been able to focus, and we haven't missed a whole lot of time. We've been able to go as business as usual. The biggest blessing is that we have field turf now, and our practice field has been underwater, so we've still been able to have the opportunity to go out on the game field and practice on the turf. That's really been the biggest blessing through all this, is that we still had a chance to go outside. And, we went one day in the gym, so through all the rain we've had, we've still been able to get outside and have good spirited practices. And our biggest thing is that we focus on the things that we can control, and that's what we try to relate to our players, and they understand that.
Hey, Coach, this is Luke Johnson with The Advocate. How you doing today?
Doing great, Luke. How you doing, my man?
Doing good. I noticed this weekend when you released the 2 deep that Raheem Ledbetter wasn't on it. Are you expecting him to be there for week 1?
Well, we're evaluating that. I think it's still it may be an opportunity for him to be there. We're just making sure that we do everything the right way and get a chance to evaluate it the right way. And hopefully he's there week 1. He definitely make us a different football team. So we're just going through the process and hope to hear more on that today.
And I know you haven't. There's a lot of new parts to look at with ULM, but even so, looking at their tape, is there anybody in particular that stands out for them?
Well, they got. Especially offensively, they returned the quarterback I think Green's returning at wide receiver, and they have a tight end that's been making some plays, and they got a running back that's returning, but they're high on this the smaller back that they got. They're pretty high on him. So, just through write-ups and online information that we've been able to gather, that's what they talk about offensively. Defensively, they've been talking about their pressure package. So, sounds like they've been getting a lot of pressure on, throughout practice. And so, again, you really don't know, but you got to understand they got some talent. They got a new coaching staff, and that coaching staff is trying to get the chemistry and get that talent to play together. And so the unknown factor is going to be there, and the challenge is going to be in front of us. So we got to go in and really focus on us and then adapt to what they're doing.
Thank you, Coach.
Floor is still open for Dawson Odums, head coach at Southern University.
I'll ask another if I got time. Has anybody surprised you this fall, Dawson? Anybody who's really stood out that you maybe weren't counting on to be kind of that big contributor?
Yeah, I think the biggest surprise in our program has probably been our graduate assistants. I think they've done an outstanding job of being able to help us in areas that we needed help, and it's just great to have those guys. We got more graduate assistant help this year than we ever had. For standing out, I think that's been a tremendous effect on our football program.
Does that include guys like Brian McCain filling in at running backs coach? Maybe a job he wasn't expecting to do this fall?
Exactly, and we try to prepare these guys to be ready to step up and step into a role, and Coach McCain has been able to do that, and he's coaching running backs. He was a running back. I'm not gonna say he played running back, but he was a running back. He definitely had an opportunity to be a running back for us in the past, and he was more of a guy that we put back there as a bull. Just run over people. So that attitude, I think, is transferring to the backs that he have, and his knowledge of the game. He had a chance to play in the West Coast system, so his understanding of blocking is he has a thorough background in that. So, just to be able to see our backs continue the growth and the pattern that they're on, I think it's exciting for him. As a young coach, you don't usually get a chance to get a position at such a young age.
Do we have any more questions for Dawson Odums at Southern University? Coach, thank you very much for your time. We look forward to talking with you next week.
Oh, thank you guys for having me. Go Jags.
That's Southern University head football coach Dawson Odums. And again, the Jags will take on Louisiana Monroe. That game can be seen also on ESPN3 at 6 p.m.
Conference recording stopped. Conference recording started.
And our final coach of the day, it's Texas Southern University. He just completed his first fall camp. He had stints at LSU, Notre Dame, which is his alma mater, and most recently Miami of Ohio. And we welcome along Michael Haywood from Texas Southern. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Thanks for joining us, Coach. If you could, let's recap fall practice and preview your first Labor Day Classic with Prairie View A&M.
Well, I think that we had a really good fall practice. I think the kids came in extremely motivated. On the first practice, I would say that we were significantly better in our first practice than when we ended spring football. The kids have come back in great shape. They're excited about playing. We're looking forward to the opportunity for this coming week. At the same time, I think that our offense, defense, and special teams have gotten better. And because of our special teams being so much better, I think that it provides an opportunity for us to be in every football game. And when you look at this coming week, what a great opportunity. I'm standing here in Prairie View Stadium now in their field house. What a great opportunity for us to come in and open up a new stadium. They've done a wonderful job with this facility in which they have. Coach Willie Simmons has done a tremendous job with his staff, and it's just an opportunity for us to be successful.
All right, the floor is now open for Michael Haywood at Texas Southern.
Coach Haywood, Charles Bishop, Dr. Caville's inside the HBCU Sports Lab. First, I want to start by asking, have you named a starter at quarterback for the Tigers?
No, we have not named a starting quarterback at this time. We'll name one on Saturday.
Wanted to follow up and ask, I know you wanted to establish a physical presence along the offensive line. What sort of offensive philosophy will we see from Texas Southern this upcoming season?
Well, I think that you can look forward to us being an open offense, creating mismatches across the board. And when we say creating mismatches, putting guys in opportunities that we put a better athlete against a less efficient athlete in which they may have. Do all kinds of things on special teams, various formations, making sure that we have a great punter, making sure that he understands his responsibility at all times. And, kickoff coverage, kickoff return, just basic things that you normally see. At the same time on defense, we'll be in multiple fronts, lined up mostly in a 3-4 front and working out of a 3-4 base front.
Coach, this is Mark Gray from HSRN. How are you?
Doing well. Yourself, sir?
Nice to talk to you. Congratulations on the job. When you speak about how good the special teams will be, normally that speaks to, depth of talent on the field comprised of reserve players who may not be good enough to start, but they certainly have major special teams better. What gives you the confidence that makes this group of players on special teams the kind of players that can make the difference that you may see making?
Because we're playing a lot more starters on special teams. We're playing, you can find each starter, they're going to be playing on a minimum of 2 to 3 special teams. That's why we have to be in tremendous shape, because they're going to be playing on a lot of special teams. At the same time, we have 94 players right now on our roster. Out of those 94 players, we have over 50 new players. And so, with all of this being said, our major deal is to find out, if guys have been replaced, to find out, hey, how can we make them integral part of our football team? Well, how you make them integral part of your football team is that you make them starter on multiple special teams. And so we've done that, although they're going to play a significant amount as a second teamer, but they'll play a tremendous amount on special teams as well. So I wouldn't say that we have much depth, but I will say that you'll see a lot of first-team guys playing a lot of special teams.
How dangerous is that for those starting units that you have from a depth standpoint? If, there's an unfortunate injury that would occur to a player on special teams, would there be a trickle-down effect to, the first-team offensive defense that they play on, and how would you overcome that?
Well, the way we look at it is next man up. When you coach your players, you're only one player away from an injury or being replaced. So when we coach, it's next man up. So we've had some adversity during our off season, and we had some adversity during our winter camp. And for example, we lost our starting fullback. So, the next thing up. So what do? You move a young man from another position who may have an opportunity to start there, or you take a guy from defense, you take a guy from offense, and you just try to make sure that you plug in the right guy to do the things in which you want him to do. And we've done that on defense, and we've done that on offense. I think we've moved about 4 or 5 guys from defense to offense right now just to fill certain roles.
Coach, good morning. Coach, good morning to you. Ty Miller from Sheridan Broadcasting here.
Good morning.
Coach, what's the one common denominator you would say that you learned coaching under Nick Saban, Mac Brown, and Charlie Weiss?
I'll tell you what, every one of those guys are different that you named. Nick Saban, I would say, great defense coordinator, unbelievable special team coach, and tremendous leader of men. Mike Brown did a tremendous job of handling the alumni, handling the media, and controlling everyone within the organization, from the domestic engineers to the alumni and the media. Charlie Weiss, best offensive mind that I've ever been around. Nobody can compare.
And, Coach, how special is it that you end up coaching at the university where your mother attended?
I think it's awesome. And I think it's really special also because not many people know, but my mother passed away on June 4th of this year. And it's really instrumental because she was the motivating force. Her and my 7-year-old, Michael Christopher, were the motivating force for me to get back into coaching. And I think it really serves me well to be at home, to be at Texas Southern University, and to change the culture as we're doing at Texas Southern University in a very positive way.
And finally, Coach, you've been off the radar, as you said, for a few years. Will people be surprised when they see what you put together at Texas Southern?
Well, we look forward to everyone saying that our student athletes are better students, better athletes, better men, and we put a better quality product on the field. And by putting a better quality product on the field, I believe that it would transcend into being a more successful football team.
Do you have any more questions for Michael Haywood at Texas Southern?
Coach Haywood, Charles Bishop again. Wanted to quickly ask, have there been standouts on the offensive and defensive side of the ball in fall camp?
Well, I think it's important as we come into the season, and in my talk with the players this morning, because we practiced at 6 o'clock this morning, and tomorrow we'll go at 6:30. So every odd day we're at 6, every even day we're at 6:30. So we're fortunate enough to have our practice prior to the conference. I say to you, as I say to the team, no man is more important than the other. We have to make sure that we have the confidence in the individual on the side of us, that they're going to do their job so that we don't have to worry about doing someone else's job. We can only do our job. And we are building as one. And when I say that we're building as one, we're building as to one heartbeat. And so as we bond this team together to become a team, it's only one heartbeat and only one heartbeat matters. And that means that we don't have any individuals on our football team.